Biafra, superstars, media.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Biafran Golden Child, the real Biafran Golden Child. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're hearing my voice. This is the Biafran Golden Child, and this morning, today, I want to talk about this so-called state of emergency that was declared in our sister state of Rivers. Rivers is part of our Biafra land, and if we talk Rivers, of course, we must talk of Biafra because we have people of Biafra extraction. Almost 60% of them live in Rivers. And of course, Rivers and Biafra is still part of Southeast, still one of us. No matter the political manipulations done by, politicians of old, especially after the Civil War, where the President General Yakubu Gowon government tried to manipulate the people of the minorities, telling them that if they cooperate with the Igbos, it's at their own detriment. Those people of Midwest, those people of Dakot, Bayelsa. They told all these people that Waibom and Calabar, look, the Igbo people are selfish, greedy, they like to dominate. If you go with them, if you align with them, they will dominate you and treat you as vassals. They will treat you as conquered people. They are too ambitious, and they are domineering. So, of course, that led to the apathy from our brothers and sisters, our kith and kin, scattered in River State, in Delta State, in Edo State, Cross River State, in Akwa Ibom. So, but for the purpose of this audio, Rivers is still a Biafra land. And so I want to talk about happenings since the Nigerian local president came up and declared a state of emergency in Biafra, removing the serving governor, duly elected governor, and his, represented cabinet, suspending the duly elected governor for 6 months, his legislative house for 6 months, and anything about governance in River State for 6 months, while at the same time appointing a sole administrator to take over for the 6 months, of emergency rule, stopping anything that was supposed to accrue as economic revenue for Rivers people. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been watching with bated breath ever since this thing happened. We didn't want to comment too fast so that we will not be, accused of being the sympathizer who will louder than the very. We didn't want it that way. So we have been pretty very careful not to make unguarded statements. But of course, things have started happening. We saw that the sole administrator, Ibok Ibas, as soon as he came, first thing he started doing, was appoint. Of course, his wife took over as a first lady. Of course, they started removing all the pictures of the elected governor, everything from within the state house. Of course, he instituted the appointment of local government administrators, and he started running the machinery of government, doing all the expenses, doing all the machinery of government in full force. And the man is acting like he's not there temporarily. He's acting like he's an executive governor, duly elected, to be not just for 6 months interim, but to be there perpetuity. But of course, we wouldn't say much. We are not going to say much, except, of course, we only plan to quote what is happening in River State. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this audio will concentrate on this so-called sole administrator, Ibok Ibas. Yes, the man they call the sole administrator, in River State. Please permit me to bring to the fore what one of my good friends and colleague, has written extensively, has posited extensively about what he calls the unconstitutional sole administrator without barriers and control. He calls it Ibok Ekwe, Ekwe Ibas. Ibok Ekwe Ibas, unconstitutional sole administrator without barriers and control. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to echo the views of my good friend, Cosmos Omega. Yes, let's go into it. Let's listen to what is happening to one of our Biafra, Biafra states. It concerns us. Rivers is Biafra, Biafra, is rivers. So, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Cosmos Omega, described Ibok Ekwe Ibas, unconstitutional sole administrator without barriers and control. First, my friend started, he said, a politician divides, he makes a good quote, a politician divides mankind into two classes, tools and enemies. Tools and enemies. Yes, quoted Friedrich Nietzsche, who said, a politician divides mankind into two classes, tools and enemies, quote unquote. A politician divides mankind into two classes, tools and enemies. Friedrich Nietzsche. Yes. Then, let's go into what he's saying. He starts. So much attention is on River State at the moment. This is coming on the heels of the man-made crisis currently rocking the oil-rich state. Equally, a lot of attention is being paid to Vice Admiral Ibok Ibas, retired. Ibas is the sole administrator of River State, appointed on March 18, 2025, following the suspension of the democratically elected governor, Similahi Fubara'S, together with the State House of Assembly members. Many people have been talking about Ibas. They acknowledge him as such a fine gentleman, one who Paris had to ignore credentials he earned from the Nigerian Navy, where he rose to the enviable position of Chief of Naval Staff. Maybe those who know his worth in gold are still missing him after his retirement in 2021. They probably wish he could return to his position and continue from where the dropper anchor. They must be missing his top-notch services and good disposition. That is why that celebratory cry, ahoy, in his salute may not be in vain after all. Any day, Ibas, chain of names, is good music to those who pronounce it in full. If that is handed to music professionals, they will clothe it with such delightful, public-pleasing melody or rendition. It will be such a singable and danceable song. But all the superlatives swirling around Ibas are nowhere near the reason he's currently in the spotlight. They are not part of why he's glued to the news. Rather, many people are talking about Ibas and his weird will and ways. They are better captured as acts of Ibas. No doubt, Ibas is a man on a mission. You should now understand why the clear light is on him. That is where what is now said and written about him gets interesting. That is why he is on every lip. His matter refusing to go away. After Ibas' retirement from the Navy, he probably headed straight for a corner of his closet and began to chill off. He kept enjoying his well-deserved rest. But out from the blues, President Bola Tinubu resurrected and conscripted him into the new role of sole administrator of the now crisis-ridden Rivers State. Tinubu had sent the world buzzing with the sacking of Fubara'S and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. To stamp his imprimatur on his deed, he blamed Fubara'S for everything he claimed went wrong in the state. He claimed anarchy had already descended in Rivers State, and the only way to stop it from further escalating was to weed out Fubara'S and the legislature. And as it stands, the propriety or otherwise of Tinubu's state of emergency in Rivers State and the 6-month suspension of Governor Fubara'S and the House of Assembly members remains for the court to decide. Having had his way as always, particularly with the suspension of democratic order, Tinubu handed Ibas a mandate which many people interpreted as twofold: go and steady the ship of government and governance and protect key economic infrastructure in the states. Bystanders reason that oil, Nigeria's big time source of revenue, is exceedingly important current government. Any disruption to its flow would critically harm its plans. So Ibas had his work cut out by Tinubu. It is such a yeoman's job. Probably Ibas never envisaged he would be called up to duty in the manner he was. He never thought such a hefty assignment awaited him. So he will agree that he is a man on a mission. In 6 months' time or so, he would wind down his stay in Rivers State and hand over to a democratically elected government again. But those watching Ibas steps, every inch of the way, reason is proving to be on a different mission after all. The reason that he must have been told to go forth and execute other agenda Nigerians are not aware of. The reason that the decision is currently taking are not in tandem with what a man on a brief mission will be doing. Some Nigerians, sorely worried by the swing of things in Rivers State, are beginning to believe that things are not adding up with what Ibas is currently doing. They are vehement that he is on an overdrive. He is overreaching himself. They are aghast that in doing what he's doing, Ibas gratuitously gives away hints that he's acting on a well-constructed script by his appointers. That his manner of acting and speaking are not only giving him out, but giving the necessary oxygen to everyone to believe he is in every intent and purpose his master's voice. Already the act of Ibas is having a life of its own, yet is not acting surreptitiously. His actions are read and understood as order, coordinated, and they are out there for all and sundry to see. Now, here is Act 1. Ibas recently appointed local government administrators for the 23 councils in the state in a bid to help his administration. This is already raising dust. People are wondering where he's deriving his right from. They are decisive, saying that he does not have the powers to do that. Some people are asking whether the appointment of sole administrators for the councils is part of Ibas' mandate. They are asking what will happen in less than 6 months' time when the democratically elected government returns to office. Will the Fubara'S government sack the appointed local government administrators and conduct a free election? They are wondering whether the Ibas action won't be a recipe for further crisis, given the strained relationship in the state with some describing his action as a deft move to wrest the council structure from Fubara'S upon his return. Now here is Act 2. Ibas has gone ahead to reconstitute the leadership of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, in bracket ROS IEC. He has appointed a new helmsman for the agency. Again, this move has elicited more reactions. More questions have been asked regarding what he wants to achieve with that in a short time. Will the governor, upon return, sack the new electoral umpire a few months in office, which is sure to happen? Some people wonder. Does Ibas want to conduct fresh election into local government offices without the input of the legislature, which is on suspension? Wouldn't all that be a nullity? Questions and questions. Here is Act 3. Ibas is constituting the boards of various agencies in the state. Some individuals who are living with this action cannot make head or tail out of it. The big question they keep asking is, what does this man want? So far, there have been voices in support of the Ibas drive. They claim that the sole administrator needs to strengthen the government in order to achieve optimum performance while in office. But those reading between the lines argue that the Rivers debacle is a game being played by the government at the center to capture the soul of the state in 2027. They struggle to establish that what Ibas and the federal government are doing is to set the stage for the restoration of full control of the state to the immediate past governor of the state and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike. That is the unverified conspiracy theory out there. However, the verdict of those looking at the bigger picture is that the optics of what is going on is not good enough. To them, a dangerous precedent is being set. Their caveat is that the nation might reap whirlwind from the ongoing shenanigans, and perhaps that may not be too long from now. Ladies and gentlemen, that those are the words of my good friend, and social analyst, prolific writer, and administrator. Yes, he has captured vividly what, the present situation is in Rivers State. And he's my good friend Cosmas. Omega, I say thank you for that very auspicious, very, very perspicacious evaluation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I must add a few words here. I think we should all be very, very, open-minded in whatever we are thinking about Rivers State. Fortunately, no matter how you try to look at it with a point of view of, let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. Yet, a lot of questions still remain unanswered. My friend has noted, why would somebody who is appointed as a sole administrator for a paltry 6 months tenure be appointing local government administrators in the 25, local government councils? Why again would he, be so much interested changing the paraphernalia of government, appointing, creating a new independent national electoral River State independent national electoral commission, appointing new INEC officers and all that? Why is he doing all this if the overall intention is to hold sway for just 6 months? Even the blind, even the deaf, even the unlettered, even the ignoramus would testify that there is a lot happening. There's a lot of smoke screen. There's more to it than meets the eye. My fellow Biafrans, Biafran lovers, lovers of peace, lovers of the rule of law, freedom lovers, I think our state, our sister River State is in trouble, and we should all pray for it. We should all be interested in the affairs of rivers. Because rivers is, like I said before, a kid and king of Biafra. We drink the same rivers, we farm in the same lands, we buy in the same markets. Rivers is Biafra. Biafra is rivers. Let us not be fooled. by the rhetorics of politicians, Nigerian politicians who have continued to make these people feel the Biafrans want to dominate them or have any intention of, uh, enslaving them. Of course, that is never our intention. Most of the houses in Rivers belong to the Igbo. After the Civil War, we don't know what happened. We know about abandoned projects and all that. But that has not deterred the Igbos from still going there and developing estates, developing mansions, building skyscrapers, building stations of citadels of learning, building all kinds of, things that have, yes, like I keep saying, Biafra and Rivers share a lot in common. We should only watch, and very, very guided. Because what is happening in Rivers State now is a clear sign that the government of the Tinubu administration has played, is playing a very big game. And that game is aimed at 2027. That game, incidentally, is aimed at depriving the democratically elected government of, similar Fubara'S, and at the end of the day, favoring his erstwhile, political godfather, immediate past governor of Rivers State, now the FCT minister, favoring him in every matter concerning Rivers State. It's unfortunate that some wicked the FCT minister has sworn to take Rivers by the throat, by the jugular, willy-nilly, whether it liked it or not. And he has a very good and powerful accomplice in his principal, President Bola Ahmed. It's obvious that the rivalry between the elected government of Fubara'S, and his political godfather, Wike, that when the president declared the state of emergency, he didn't do it with an altruistic mind. He didn't do it because he wanted to reconcile two fighting groups. No, he did it because he wanted to favor his FCT minister, who has become his very, very great ally. Yes, he has become his ally and his, henchman. Yes, he has become his henchman. Ladies and gentlemen, my hearts go to Mr. Fubara'S. Unfortunately, my hearts go to the Rivers people because they've been shortchanged just a few months into the government of this young man. They've been shortchanged, and here they have, a solid administrator, in the name of, Ibas, a name that has become like a song. Yes, the name has become like a song. The way you call his full names, his full names, it looks like a song. So the gentleman, ex-Navy, senior officer, chief of naval staff, was brought in to do a yeoman's job, for as a hatchet job for Mr. President in favor of initial Wike of the FCT minister. But of course, we're watching, and we're praying for Rivers State. I hope the Rivers people, will put our hands on it, join the Biafran people to fight vigorously for the liberation, for the full and, full emancipation of the Biafra land. Yes, they redeclared Biafra. They should join the redeclared United States of Biafra fully, intensify every effort to join us, to reason with us, and to support our Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi, to bring United States of Biafra to the forefront as a sovereign nation. When it happens, this kind of rubbish, this kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul, this kind of appointing stooges, this kind of manipulative decisions, this kind of waking up one morning and declaring a state of emergency will never occur. Will never occur in Biafra land. Because, of course, there will be zero tolerance for incompetence. There will be zero tolerance for clueless government. There will be zero tolerance for corruption. There will be zero tolerance for godfatherism. And people like Nyesom Wike and co will have nothing. Will have nowhere at all, no positions at all. in the redeclared sovereign United States of Biafra. My hearts go to Fubara'S, and my heart goes to the Rivers people. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom lovers, I hope with this little audio, short audio, I brought your minds as speed with what is happening in Rivers State. And please let us all join hands, pray for them, wish them well, and talk to them when you have the opportunity. Let them know they're one of us, they're part of us, and we're one happy family in Biafra land. God bless you all. God bless the United States of Biafra. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan, Bloomington, Lord Logan, and it's Wild Flora Show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.